Welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 battle report. This game, my Deathwatch and Dark Angels army will be taking on Mike's Tallarn Astra Militarum in a warfare practice mission. This is a custom mission for a tournament being held in Reading in a couple of weeks at time of filming. And here you can see the battlefield for today's game, featuring some nice old school terrain pieces that we usually feature in the battle. The first time showing this power plant, 2nd edition card terrain, and this bunker. We also have this nice old church building with the stained glass windows, and one of the original City Fight runes from 3rd edition, I believe, the City Fight expansion. So that's today's board. We're going to go over the two armies and the custom mission for the game today. So the mission for today's battle is a custom one for warfare called Time Lapse. This is a Maelstrom of War mission where you get 4 objectives per turn, and you only have a single turn to complete them. So similar to the other Maelstrom mission. However, one of the tricks in this is that after you draw your cards and have played any start of turn objectives, you get to look at the next 4 cards in the deck, and there's a stratagem you can use to swap them. So for example, if you get a bad set of cards, you can potentially swap them for a better set. This stratagem is called Chronometron and costs 1 CP the first time you use it, 2 CP the next time you use it, etc. One of the things about the warfare deck as well, Maelstrom deck, is each player has to decide to take priority orders received and 5 other cards out of the deck, and you're not allowed to discard any cards from then on, even if they're impossible. So I have chosen to take, I have to take priority orders received. I've taken out Kingslayer, Advance, Master the Warp, Domination, and Psychological Warfare. Now, this may seem an odd choice for the army I'm facing. However, you do not get, you must declare which cards for the entire tournament. So, for my thinking, Psychological Warfare can be a bit iffy because you're generally looking to kill a unit, and a lot of armies have morale mitigation. Domination is always difficult to get. Master the Warp, I don't have any Psychers. Advance doesn't suit my army because I don't really want to be out of my deployment zone with some units. Kingslayer is always tricky. And priority orders. For Mike, he has chosen to take out, he's also got priority orders received. He's chosen to remove Witch Hunter. Again, the chances of coming up against Psychers can be remote in games. Advance, for a guard army, you obviously don't want to be moving that far. Domination again. A specific one, Regimental Pride, which is kill a enemy character with a guard character, which is a tough call under the most circumstances. And Scour the Skies, kill a flyer. Now I still have this one in my deck, but Mike, as you've seen in his army list, has no flyers, so if I draw this, I'll need to keep it. So, quite an unusual mission. Most of the warfare ones are. It still has Slay the Warlord, Lightning Strike, which is basically first blood that both players can score, and Linebreaker. So this will be an interesting Maelstrom game. Here is the Dark Angels and Deathwatch army for today's game, and this features 3 detachments, 1 battalion of Dark Angels, 1 battalion of Deathwatch, and an auxiliary detachment containing a Calexis Assassin. So for the Dark Angels, we have 2 HQ units. We have Azrael, who's going to be my Warlord, giving me the Warlord trait of a free reroll per battle and regaining command points on a 5+, although obviously with the new FAQ this is a lot more limited. He also gives me a bonus command point for being in the army. I also have a Primaris Lieutenant, and he's going to have the Eye of the Unseen Relic. For the troops choices, I have 2 5-man scout squads, One with a heavy bolter and bolters, chainsword on the sergeant, the other with just bolters and a chainsword on the sergeant. I also have a unit of 5 intercessors with bolt rifles. For heavy support, I have a unit of 5 devastators with a single heavy bolter and an armorium cherub, and I have a unit of 10 hellblasters. For elites, I also have a Primaris Ancient to give me the chance to shoot back with this unit, and for a single fast attack I have the Dark Shroud. This battalion works as a really strong fire base. The combination of the Hellblasters, the Ancient, Azrael and the Lieutenant work really well, giving me a nice 4-up invulnerable save for the Hellblasters to help keep them alive for longer. Rerolls to hit from Azrael, rerolls of 1s to wound from the Master, and a chance to shoot back if they are slain, so this makes a really solid fire base for my Dark Angels. For the Deathwatch battalion, I have 2 characters. I have the Watchmaster, who's a really solid character in combat and gives me full rerolls to hit. I also have a Watch Captain with a Jump Pack, Thunderhammer, Storm Shield and a Bolt Pistol. I have 3 troops choices. I have a unit at the back there of 10 Deathwatch Intercessors. I have a unit of 10 Veterans with Storm Bolters and Chainswords, 2 of which have Storm Shields, so they don't have the Chainswords. And finally, I have a unit of 6 Veterans with 4 Stalker Bolters and 2 Missile Launchers, and this gives me some nice long range firepower support. The Stalker Bolters are really nice. They're heavy 2, 30 inches, AP -1, which when combined with the special issue ammunition can get to really good AP values or really good bonus to wounding. And finally, I have a auxiliary detachment with a Calexis Assassin. Not only is he pretty good for diminishing psychers in the enemy army, I find that he's more useful for just being an annoyance, because he forces you to fire at weapon skill and ballistic skill 6+. He can actually tank and hold up quite a lot of firepower or combat units. I've used them previously to hold up Bullgreen units before, to take the entire firepower from a 20 strongman Necron warrior squad, so I find him to be really effective for taking on big threats in the enemy army. Plus, if your opponent does have any psychers, you can target them and make it a bit harder to cast powers. So that is the Dark Angels army. Let's take a look at the army they will be facing today. So, for the first battalion, we have the company commander with a plasma pistol and a power sword. This will be the Warlord, taking the Old Grudges Warlord trait, which grants a 6-inch reroll to wound bubble against 1 selected enemy unit in my army. And we have the Primaris Psyker, who has Night Shroud and Psychic Maelstrom. For the elites, we have a platoon commander who has the Dagger of Tasaka Relic, allowing him and 1 infantry unit to outflank. For the other HQ units in the battalion, at the back there we have 3 tank commanders, 1 an Executioner, 1 a normal Layman Russ and 1 a Punisher. For the troops we have 6 infantry squads. We have 2 with mortars, 1 that's bare bones, 1 with a plasma gun and 2 with grenade launchers. We also have a unit of 5 Rough Riders. Really nice Tallarn conversions here, which Mike informed me killed the Demon Prince in his last game. So way to go them, certainly performed much better than they did in the game against my White Scars previously. We then have 3 Layman Russ Conqueror tanks, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform. They've got the Axle Stormbolter, Coaxial Stormbolter, and for the super heavy we have a Shadow Sword tank, which I have not faced yet, and honestly I don't know if my army has the firepower to deal with this much armour, but this is our warfare practice armies and what we'll plan to bring, so potentially I could come up against an armoured force like this or a force of knights, so it'll be interesting to see how the army performs and whether I have to actually kill stuff or I can just focus on objectives to win the game. So that's the two armies. We'll come back to you with an explanation of the special scenario we're playing today and the deployment for the army. So Other Mike did want to point out that this is a Baneblade. He's just proxying it at the moment because his Shadow Sword arrived today and he hasn't had a chance to get it painted up though, and rather than using unpainted models. He's also taken a couple of my Layman Russes and a turret from my army, just so we have a nice fully painted force to face you today, and I think you'll agree that looking at it, it is a lovely Tallarn painted force, so it's nice to see it on the channel in a battle report. So here is the board and deployment for today's game, just to give you a quick overview before I go into the objectives. So for the objectives, we have Objective 6 back at the Ruined Church here, Objective 2 over by the power plant, Objective 1 in the ruins with the guard, Objective 3 over here, Objective 4 in the ruins here, and Objective 5 in front of the guard lines. I placed the last objective and got to choose my deployment zone, so I chose this section with some good line of sight blocking to keep my Hellblasters and Dark Shrouds safe. For deployment, I put the intercessors at the back here, out of line of sight, possibly blocking off some of Mike's reserves and able to go grab this objective. I've got the Hellblasters, the Dark Angels characters and the Dark Shroud here, either to go for the objective or climb up and shoot the guard lines. The Devastators and the Deathwatch veterans went in the ruins here. With the scouts, there was really no good option, so I decided to go super aggressive in case I get turn 1. So 1 unit scouts in the crater here, ready to go straight into the enemy lines, and another unit here, ready to go. Sorry, I've just realised I move Objective 3 out of the way in order to film, so it should actually be here in this crater. So this unit's the scouts in front of the guard line, either to go for Objective 5 or Objective 3, or if I don't draw any of them, to go after the infantry squads. For Mike's deployment, he has 2 infantry squads and the Shadow Sword on his left flank with the Psyker here ready to put Night Shroud on it, I imagine. We have 1 tank commander nearby, another tank commander, a unit of infantry at the back to block my deep striking units, my Tallarn units, 2 Russes at the front here, the Conquerors, 2 infantry squads in the ruins, and another Layman Russ Conqueror, and the final Punisher tank commander. So not deploying too far back for the tanks, but some good line of sight blocking for me, certainly in a lot of these, but still plenty of firepower. I don't know if I have the firepower to deal with them, but then again, based on the objectives, I may not have to. So I did finish deploying first, and we'll get the +1. So let's see what I can roll up for this. Please be a high number. 4 and a 5, so that's a draw, so we need to re-roll that. 5 and a 2, so I will take the first turn unless Mike concedes the initiative, and he fails, so that will be first turn for the Deathwatch and Dark Angels, which is very good because that's, I think I'm going to need it to maybe try and shut down some of this firepower before it has a chance to take me out. So we'll see what cards I draw and what I decide to do for the first turn for the Dark Angels and Deathwatch. Before my first turn kicks off, Mike decided that the Hellblaster unit here would be the subject of old grudges, so he gets reroll all to wins. Is it? Yep, reroll all to wins if he's within 6 inches of his Warlord, who is over here. I think I forgot to mention that, just behind the tanks. And he has decided he's going to use the Concealed Positions stratagem, the new one from the FAQ to give every unit in his army the benefits of cover if they're in his deployment zone, with the exception of the Shadow Sword in this instance, because as a Titanic vehicle it doesn't get it. So that should greatly decrease the amount of firepower or the amount of damage my army should be able to do, especially with some of the guard stratagems that can be accessed. So we'll see what I can do in my first turn. So first turn I've drawn Defend Objective 2, Big Game Hunter, Secure Objective 6 and Secure Objective 2. Not a bad hand for me actually. Objective 2's here, just in my deployment zone. Objective 6 is also here in my deployment zone, so a good chance of getting them. And if I can focus for Big Game Hunter on one of the tanks to get both First Blood and Big Game, that would be quite nice. The other thing I forgot to mention, the Warfare Rules Pack limits you to 10 command points for your army, regardless of what detachment you have. The only exception to this is auxiliary detachments don't count towards this. So for example, I should be starting on 13 command points, 2 battalions, the 3 for being Battleforged and +1 for Asriel, -1 for taking the auxiliary. However, I only start on 10 and I use 3 to put units in the Teleportarium, so that takes me down to 7 before the game starts. So as per the rules of this game, I am secretly going to show you my next 4 cards. So this one, this one, this one and this one, and they go back to the top of my deck. So looking at them, I think I'm going to stay with what I've got for the moment, because I think I've got a better chance of scoring these in this instance. So those are my objectives. I'm not going to spend command points to get rid of any, I don't think, because I'm down to 7, and I'll do my movement and then see where I end up from there. So with the armies deployed, in reserve I have my Calexis Assassin, my Watchmaster, my Intercessor squad and my Stormbolter Veteran squad, along with the Watch Captain with the jump pack, so using 3 command points for the Teleportarium stratagem. In reserve, Mike has his platoon commander and an infantry squad with a plasma gun, thanks to his relic dagger, allows him to do this, and he also has the Rough Riders, so they will be able to deploy within 6 inches of a board edge, more than 9 inches away, within 7 inches of a board edge, sorry, at least 9 inches away from an enemy unit, so they could potentially threaten my back lines turn 2 onwards, whereas my reserves can basically show up anywhere, at least 9 inches away from an enemy unit. The end of my movement phase, turn 1, the Intercessors moved up to hold this objective. The Devastators and the Deathwatch stayed where they were. The Hellblasters moved up onto the platform here to get line of sight of the enemy tanks. The Dark Shroud advanced while staying where it was, very clever. The Ancient moved up to grab this objective, with Asriel and the Master staying behind. My Scouts moved up on the 2 enemy tanks, while this unit of Scouts also moved up on the enemy lines, hoping I can unleash my firepower into the infantry squad there and then charge the tanks and potentially hold them up, although I am aware defensive gunners could come into play here. Equally, I want to maybe shoot the infantry squads and charge the other commander to slow him down, so he can't use defensive gunners on both, and hopefully the Hellblasters will be able to fire on to potentially one of the tank commanders and do some damage there. So no psychic phase, I'll just go into my shooting and hopefully I can do some good damage. We'll start the shooting phase. The Hellblasters are going to overcharge their plasma into the Punisher tank over here. I'm also going to spend a command point on Weapons of the Dark Age to give me +1 damage. Do I get it back? No, I don't, so I'm down to 6 command points. Only single shot because I'm not in range, double tap range, but I'm hopefully do some damage here. So hitting on 3s, re-rolling full re-rolls thanks to Asriel. just as well. And that is 9 hits, that's pretty good. 4s to wound, yeah, because it's toughness 8. Rerolling 1s though, thanks to the lieutenant. And that's 2, 4, that's 5. So if he needs 12 wounds.
12 wounds.
So he needs to make 2 6-ups because he's got the defensive position stratagem. So that's 5 wounds. If he makes 2 6-ups here, I'll be annoyed. No, so it is destroyed, the tank command. That's 15 wounds thanks to my stratagem. And does he blow up? No, he does not, but that is first blood for me and also big game hunter. So that is a nice start for the Dark Angels here. I'll do my rest of my shooting off camera to see what I can do to the enemy units here, if I can hopefully cause just as much devastation. Rest of my shooting phase on turn 1. This unit of scouts fired at the infantry squad here. Mike using the take cover stratagem to give them a 3-up armor save this turn. Only managed to kill 1 thanks to this. This unit's of scouts fired at the infantry squad in the ruins here, managing to kill 3 with the bolter and heavy bolter. My Deathwatch squad here, the stalker bolters fired at the same infantry squad, whereas the missiles went into the Layman Russ over here. The stalker bolters managed to kill another 4 and to leave 2 models remaining, but 3 in the squad. Both missiles hit but then failed to wound, even with the mission tactics rerolls, which I chose heavy support for this game. So they both missed, unfortunately, and I used the Hellfire Shell stratagem, which I kept the command point back, so I'm not going to get any more till turn 2. They fired at the Layman Russ. First shot did 2 mortal wounds, and I used the Armorium Cherub to reload and fire again, doing another 2 mortal wounds and taking this down to 8. So nothing else in my army is in range or can see to fire. The Dark Shroud advanced to get my Jinx save. So we're going to go into the charge phase. My scouts are going to charge the infantry squad here, and this unit of scouts are going to charge the front Layman Russ here. So we will do Overwatch and any stratagems, and then I can come back to you with the charge rolls. In the charge phase, Mike did decide to use defensive gunners on the scouts here. The Stormbolter did no damage. He rolled 1 for the number of shots with the cannon, using a command point reroll, and got 4. 1 hit, 1 wounded, killed a scout, as you can see. The last cannon did nothing. Over here, the infantry squad also did 1 wound, which I failed to save again. So both squads are down to 4 models. For the squad here, let's see what charge roll I can do. Hopefully this is a big one, so that I can move up and consolidate into second tank to stop that shooting. 5, that's enough to get in. Should be enough to help me as well consolidate, so that's fine. The other squad into the infantry. Double 1. Do you know what? They're dead anyway, so let's CP that. I need at least, I think, a 3 to get in, or 4. A 3, that may not be enough. Let's see. No, it's just enough, turns out. I'm within 4. So, luckily, I'm just enough to get in. So, we'll move the chargers, and that's me down to 4 CP, annoyingly, which I don't want to use again. Move my chargers, do the fight phase, and see what happens. This unit moved up 5 inches in the shadow of the bunker here. I'm now going to use my consolidation move to move closer and to tie up the second vehicle in combat. It will get to attack me back, but hopefully I can survive long enough to do some damage. Here, yeah, again, I'm going to consolidate in. Hopefully, if I can kill enough of these guardsmen, I might be able to get in the range of that tank commander to stop him shooting. Or at the very least, he's going to have to move and shuffle back a bit to allow some of these units to shoot. So, Going into the fight phase, let's do this unit first for all it's worth. So that is 6 attacks onto the Layman Russ. 6 attacks onto the Russ, hitting on 3s. Not with that good. Wounding on 6s. Nope, that's nothing. No use at all. And then the other squad is 6 attacks as well into the infantry squad over here. If these all hit and wound and kill them, I may have a shot. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to be in trouble here. So 3s to hit. Yeah, not rolling like that, I'm not. 3s to wound. That's 2 wounds, 2 5-up saves. One's cocked, so... it does kill 2, but that's not going to be... Yeah, you can move them there. And let's just pile in there.
Are you certain you want to pile in?
Oh yeah, no, yep, I really don't want that attacking me. That's correct, so stay an inch away. Unfortunately, really didn't... Take cover was helpful. I thought I'd kill a lot more in the shooting phase, although if I had, I wouldn't have made the charge with my abysmal roll, so we'll see what happens here. Odds are this unit's going to be fine, although he is going to have to shuffle around if he wants to fall back some of these units in combat. We'll do the attacks back with the infantry squad and the tanks. Hopefully my guys can survive and not fall to tanks, so we'll see. I just need 1 left alive to tie both of them up, so that would be nice. And as you can see, it's quite congested here, so there's going to have to be a lot of movement to allow them to fall back from combat. So I could potentially be reducing the number of turret guns if he has to move far enough in order to... We'll see in his move phase. But attacks back, we'll see what they can do, and we'll come back to you within the results and my score. Attacks back, 1 scout actually fell to the attacks from the infantry squad. Surprisingly, the tanks didn't do any damage at all to them. Morale test, we'll need a morale test over here for this squad who lost 6, I believe? 7. Yeah, they lost 7.
So I could use a strategy before a D3 instead of a D6, but it's not worth it.
Nope.
So,
so yeah, so this infantry squad flees. This squad over here lost 3. They could potentially run away as well. On a 1, no, they're fine. So that I don't need any morale. Leadership 8 over here, so I'm fine. I only lost 1 in this squad. So at the end of my turn, I score secure objective 2, secure objective 6, and big game hunter. And I am going to hold on to defend objective 2. My reasoning being the Ancient can't be targeted at the moment because the Hellblasters are still closer, depending on how far he moves this tank, or so I should be able to hold on to that, is my hope. So with First Blood, that gives me 4 points at the end of turn 1, with a potential other 2 points at the end of Mike's turn. And we'll come back to you with his cards drawn for turn 1. Start Mike's turn, he drew behind enemy lines, which isn't going to be possible this turn. Secure objective 5, which is entirely possible. Death from afar, so kill a unit with a unit in the Astra Militarum deployment zone, that is incredibly likely. And Supremacy, hold the objectives. So objective 5 is over here, which is infantry squad to get to. He is holding an objective 1 over here. The next closest objective is 3 over here, which is going to be hard to get, I think. So what I'll get Mike to do is show you his next 4 cards as per the scenario, and I will turn away and close my eyes, and he can decide whether he wants to spend the command points to replace them, although I doubt it, unless his next hand is incredible. I don't think we are. So I'm going to close my eyes now, and he's going to show you the next 4 cards if you just place them here.
Alright.
Okay, so obviously I don't know what these cards are because I've got my eyes shut, but I don't think they'll be any better. So if you've seen them all, Then if Mike takes them away, all done?
Yep.
Yep. So are you going to use a command point to switch those 4? Obviously I don't know what he's got, so this could be potentially interesting, although unless this is an incredible hand, like 2 lots of secure objective 1, 2 lots of secure objective 5, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. So
could I get you to close your eyes and turn away while I quickly do something?
Yep, no problem. So that's an ominous request for any gamer to get during a game. Mike has decided, after some measuring, which I was not looking at, so I wouldn't get any ideas, not to use the stratagem to swap his cards. So he's going to stick with these 4 for the game. However, the 4 that he just showed you will be at the top of his deck for next turn, so there's some potential there for what he can do. So we'll do his movement phase and his psychic phase, and we'll come back to you. The end of the guard movement phase, this infantry squad here advanced, getting 2 inches. Mike rolled, didn't use the command point reroll, but rolled another 2. However, they are in range of this commander here, who's moved up in order to advance onto this 3rd objective to get him supremacy. We measured up, and he will need at least a 3-inch advance, so you know, good odds of that for the power. The infantry squad here fell back towards objective. The Shadow Sword moved along here to get line of sight. His 2 tanks fell back from combat with the scouts, the other 2 shuffling round to help them. This infantry squad over here moved back a bit to block some lane for deep strikers, while this Layman Russ moved over in order to get line of sight on my Dark Shroud, who is -1 to hit and also has a 4-up invuln, so hopefully I can survive the volley here. We will see. So, psychic phase, your Primaris is going to do what?
Smite.
Okay, Primaris Smite, hoping to take out the scouts here. That's Perils. Do you want to use reroll?
I'll take it.
He's going to take it and get D6 Super Smite. For 3, that's enough to wipe out the scouts. And takes 1 wound himself, so that worked out rather well for him. Saves some potential firepower, and the scouts are dead. So with that, we will do the shooting phase for the Astra Militarum. Probably show you what this big Shadow Sword beastie does here, and then we'll do the rest off camera because there's a ton of shooting. Maybe this Layman Russ, because this shot at the Dark Shroud could be important. We'll see what happens. For orders this turn, this unit was ordered to move. We actually had a bit of a chat about the rules here. Because they advanced 2 inches in the movement phase, this gets added to their move, so their move becomes 8. If they're ordered to move again, they must advance, but they don't, by my reading of it, they don't get to roll because they already advanced, so their move is 8 inches, which unfortunately means he couldn't get into this objective. He still did order them to move and get in here. This unit, again, he was going to move with them, but because they fell back, move says you move as if it's the movement phase and you must advance as part of it. By our reckoning, because they fell back, they're ineligible to advance, so they don't get to use that order because they must advance as part of it, but they cannot advance. So I hope we're playing that right, because if we're not, then I've denied you quite a few victory points, unfairly perhaps. So instead he ordered himself to reroll 1s to hit, as did the 2 tank commanders over here. First up in the shooting phase, this Layman Russ is going to fire at the Dark Shroud, and because he's Tallarn, he can move and fire heavy weapons on his vehicles without penalty, which is good because he would normally be hitting this on a 6 to move, but he's hitting on 5s now. So what's firing first?
Heavy bolter.
Heavy bolter into the Dark Shroud. That's 1 hit.
Toughness 6.
Toughness 6, yep. So that is a failed wound. Yep. Storm bolter firing. That's no hits.
Nope.
And the battle cannon gets 5 shots.
8.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, 8 shots. Sorry, it's not best.
No, we get both.
I need to play my guard a bit more. Hitting on 5s. Hopefully you roll poorly here. No, you get 4 hits.
Re-rolling. a Conqueror, and I targeted you with the Stormbolter.
Oh, okay. I did not realise that. So that is 5 hits. This could kill it if he rolls well. So 3s to wounds. That is 3 wounds.
How many wounds does it have?
It has 9. Sorry, it has 9 in total.
And a 4-up invuln.
And a 4-up invuln.
So
what's the damage? Is it D3?
I'm going to leave it. It's D3 damage.
It's D3 damage. So unless, let's see, my invulns, unless if I fail all these, unless you get incredibly lucky, it's still alive. Nope, I make 2. I'll let that one go through. It's not worth the command point, but it does do 2 damage on the Dark Shroud. So the Dark Shroud is down 2 wounds. It's got 7 remaining, and that's quite useful for me as it still gives -1 to hit for many of my Hellblasters this turn, which can have a big effect against the guard firepower. So we'll do the rest of the shooting and see what effect that has. So the Shadow Sword is going to fire everything at the Deathwatch vets. Want to get rid of these missile launchers for some reason, even though they did nothing.
Right, they've got longer range than these guys.
That's true. They're longer range than the Hellblasters, so if he takes care of them. So first up we have the Heavy Bolters.
So it's twin Heavy Bolter. That's 3 hits.
3 hits, only hitting on 4s, fortunately for me. That is 2 wins, 3 up armour, because I'm in cover, but it's -1. And that is both saved.
Good.
And the big gun now.
3D3.
What's this called? Volcano
Cannon.
Yep. That's only 3 shots.
Well,
that's not amazing.
4s.
4s to hit. 1 hit. 2s to wound, I presume.
Yeah.
-5. So yeah, 1 dies. No save there whatsoever. Let's take one of the guys. Let's take this guy from the back, so the rest will be in range. So only 1 dead Marine with the Shadow Sword. Not amazing.
It's poor rolling. With
pretty poor for him. Only getting 3 shots. We will see what else can be done, and hopefully when I come back to you with the end of the shooting phase, there'll be still a lot of models left on the board. I was joking about having lots of models left, but that was pretty horrendous on Mike's part. The company commander overcharged his plasma pistol at the scouts, killing 1, not himself, which is nice. The first tank commander, the plasma cushioner, fired overcharging everything at the Hellblasters, even though it was -1 to hit. He ended up killing 2 and doing 3 mortal wounds on himself. One of my Hellblasters got to fire back at this rust but did no damage. The other tank commander fired his heavy bolters into the scouts, doing 4 wounds, but I made all 4 5-up saves. That was pretty horrendous. The cannon went into the Hellblasters, again killing 2 more, and I didn't get any shots fired back. So I've lost 4 Hellblasters, and my leadership is 9 thanks to the banner being nearby. So I think that's all the shooting. So, and there won't be any charges, I presume.
Oh, there will.
Oh, there will be charges. Okay. In which case, I don't need to do my morale test yet for the Hellblasters. So what's going to charge?
These guys are going to go in here.
They advanced. You don't get to, yeah, you don't get to charge. You get to shoot, but you don't get to, oh yeah, the infantry squad's fired at the scouts because they're Tallarn and they can shoot, but they did no damage.
I have to charge you with something, or you're going to tie up some tanks.
Potentially.
Do I throw badass at you?
Yeah, you want to put your warlord into them?
He's a hero. He's going into you.
Okay, we'll do the Overwatch. We'll do this on camera because this will be interesting. The heavy bolter, come on. Nothing. And then 4 bolter shots. 1 hit. Doesn't win, so no risk from Overwatch. And he goes 7. That's probably enough to get in. We'll just imagine. Actually, no, it's not. He's just over 8 inches away, so that is a failed charge. Any more charge? Do you want to charge me your tank commanders?
Command reroll the 1.
Okay, so he's going to use a
2.
Yeah, he needs a 2 again, so he's going to command point reroll. Oh yeah, he's in as well. So that does stop me from charging some tanks. That is a nice move to tie up some firepower.
Unless he dies.
Unless he dies, which is unlikely. I couldn't even kill an infantry squad. I doubt I'll be able to take him out. So we'll do the fight phase now for him. You're getting how many attacks?
3.
3 attacks with the power sword, so he could take out the scouts here. That's 3 hits, needing 5s to wound, I presume.
Yep.
It's cocked, so Nope, and that's no wounds. And we will pile in with my sergeant here, and that gives me 2 for him plus the chain sword, so 3. That gives me 5 attacks. If these all hit and wound, I could do it. Let's see. 3's to hit. Nope, my rolling for the scouts has been horrendous. Yeah, I did do 1 wound though. Can he save it?
Yeah.
He does, so that is a drawn combat, but it does do what you wanted to set out to do, which is stop me from being able to charge and tie up his tanks yet again. So a good move there from the commander. So with the end of that turn, I'll do my morale for the Hellblasters. They are leadership 9 thanks to the banner, and of course I fail it, but I get a reroll and a 1. I pass it, so no more Hellblasters die, although they have been whittled down a bit. At the end of your turn, you will score secure objective 5, and I think that's it. You didn't kill any units.
Oh, I had to kill one that was in your deployment zone.
Oh, was it? I thought
my deployment zone.
Ah, so yeah, so the scouts don't actually. The scouts don't count there, and you didn't manage to wipe out any of my units, so no. So you only score secure 5. Do you want to discard anything?
It won't matter because it gets discarded.
Oh, of course, and I will score defend objective 2 over here, still being held by my ancient. So that takes it to 6 points to 1 at the end of the.
Because of lightning strike.
Yes, sorry, it is lightning strike, not first blood. So it's 6 points to 2. For the Deathwatch and Dark Angels, so a good start here. Unfortunately though, I don't really have much that can deal with his armour, and now everything will probably be able to shoot this turn. We'll see how long I can hold out and if I can score some good cards going into my second. Starting my second turn, I drew Overwhelming Firepower, Aided Denial, Secure Objective 5 and Defend Objective 6. I'm going to get Aided Denial, I think for the maximum, because there's no one in range. Overwhelming I should be able to get if I target some of the infantry squads, maybe even the tank that's damaged. Defend 6 I can do. I might have to play around a bit though to stop any of the reserves from coming in to get a charge off on this unit. And Secure 5, which is over here, probably not going to get. As per the scenario, here are the next 4 cards. I can see if I want to discard them. So we have this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I'm going to take a look at them and see if it's worth the discard. Had a think, and I think I'll hold on to these cards from now because I've got a decent score and I can probably get a number of these. I'll get 2 points for Aided Denial, might even get 2 points for Overwhelming Firepower if I can kill off a few units, depending on if and where I bring in my Deathwatch, and likely to get Defend 6 if I do some movement issues. But I won't get Secure 5, so I'll do my movement phase, see if I want to bring in any reserves and come back to you and show that. So after some thought, I decided to leave the intercessors where they are. It's going to be a 9-inch charge regardless of where he comes in, so if he wants to clear me off that objective he's going to have to go for it. The Dark Shroud advanced and pretty much the rest of the army stayed where it was. I can maybe do some damage to him in combat, or these units are going to stay here to get maximum firepower. In terms of reserves, I wasn't going to bring any in, but after thinking about it, I brought in my Stormbolter squad and my Watch Captain over here, figuring I can target both these infantry squads and hopefully get Overwhelming Firepower. If I can kill 2 of these and maybe kill that Russ as well. I thought about bringing my Calexis in, however there was no way to deploy him within 18 inches of the Psyker, so I wouldn't be able to target him and my gun would be a bit less effective, certainly against these tanks. So I'll maybe hold him off for a turn. If I can clear out these infantry squads a little bit better, and hopefully my storm shields might protect me a bit from harm from these squads, but if they die, they die. Can be nice and callous about them, but hopefully my storm shields might do a bit better job. So we'll do my no psychic phase, so that's my reserves come in. Hellblasters staying where they are. We'll start off with the shooting phase. We're going to spend 1 command point on weapons of the Dark Age. Now it's turn 2, I can roll to see if I keep it. I do not, so I'm down to 3 command points, and we're going to overcharge these guys into the Wounded Russ over here. Hopefully finish that off, and that'll score me at least 1 for overwhelming firepower. That's 6 Hellblasters firing, no minuses, fortunately. Full rerolls for Azrael. That's 2 misses. Oh, and that's 2 dead. That is not good. Oh no, I've already rerolled them, but I can see if they fire back. Wounding on 4s, reroll on 1s. That is 1 wound is all. So that takes 3 damage. It's down to 5. Did the 2 guys that died, did they get to fire back? No, they don't. So, that is 2 dead Hellblasters for 3 wounds on a Russ. That is not what I was looking for, in all honesty. Yeah, that is not amazing. Pretty poor round of shooting there. So we'll see what the rest of my shooting can do. Hopefully these missile launchers can redeem themselves and actually finish off this Russ. If not, what I'm thinking is these veterans are going to split fire between these 2. Even if you just take cover, I can use some good stratagems to get in range. So I'm thinking 20 shots each with rerolls, wounding on 3s should be enough to hopefully wipe out these squads. If not, I have some more firepower over here from my squads, can finish them off and at least score me something for overwhelming. So we'll come back to you with that. After the horrendous shooting with the Hellblasters, things got a bit better. I split fire between the veterans to fire at the 2 infantry squads. The further away squad out of cover with Kraken bolts was wiped out. The rest of the shots managed to kill all but 1, so I should say the Devastators added their firepower as well. Between the Devastators and half the veterans, I managed to kill all but 1, annoyingly. Fortunately, the Watchmaster was able to finish him off, giving me 2 unit kills. I then decided there was probably a little chance of killing the Russ with the grenade, with the missile launchers, so I thought I'd have a go at the infantry squad here. Unfortunately, pure rolling and good saves for the Stalker Marines meant only 2 died. Then horrendous rolling for the frag missiles only saw 2 more die. So unfortunately, I will get overwhelming firepower, but I'm not going to get 2 points for it. I'm only going to get 1, but still good enough. Unfortunately, this tank is down a tier, so the shooting back will be a bit less effective thanks to the Dark Shroud, but losing 2 Hellblasters and not killing it was painful. My pistols, I fired at the captain here, the commander, sorry. Managed to do 3 wounds, but then he made 2 armor saves on a 5-up, so unfortunately only a wound. We will go into the combat phase. I don't think there's going to be any charges, because it will just be suicide. This tank's probably too far away and it can still fall back and shoot or shoot me with no problem. The scouts I'll consolidate up because he's not in base, so if I get lucky maybe I can move into range of that tank, but I doubt it. At least this will give me Warlord if I kill him, and I can move round and potentially stop him from falling back.
I have based you, but I've gone into you. I have tried to.
Oh yeah, you tried to base me with one of them, so yeah, I can't. Yeah, so they can't do that. I'll just move to there. I'll do my attacks now, so that's 3 for the Sergeant and 2 for the combined normal guys. So if I get really lucky here, I do need some good luck because I've had some horrendous rolling this turn. 3's to hit. Continues. That's a bit average in all honesty. And 1 wound.
He's a beast. You can't
he's a beast. Nope, he takes another wound, but he'll fight back, but in this turn he's likely going to fall back and those scouts are going to get mauled. No, not like that. So it doesn't matter, he did his job. Tanks can fire at full effect. We will need a morale test for this unit here, who lost 4.
That's fine.
That's fine, that's a pass. So, not an amazing shooting phase. I think clearing infantry here should help me next turn with bringing some of my reserves. I was considering bringing in the captain here to charge in and finish off this commander, but as I was reminded, fly units don't get to ignore it anymore. So the only way I could either deploy him out in the open, I had to deploy him behind the building here because of the infantry squad, so I was going to need an impossible charge, so I might have to wait till next turn for that. So at the end of my turn, I do score overwhelming firepower, and I score area denial for 2 points, so that takes me up to 9 at the moment. I start defending 6 and I can't secure 5, but I don't need to discard that because I only get 1 turn to score them. Although, if I make the charge here, they're probably going to die, but if I make the charge, no, it's more than 12 inches away from the Stormlord. If I made the charge I could secure this, but it's too far away. So I'll start defending 6, see what happens with that. So at the moment it's 9 points to 2 for the Dark Angels with the option of going up to 11. We'll see what can happen going into the Astra Militarum turn 2. As you will have seen last turn because of the mission, Mike this turn, but as a surprise to me, Mike drew Assassinate, Chain of Command, so issue orders, Big Game Hunter, area denial. Big Game Hunter he can't score, but he's not allowed to discard it as per the rules of the tournament. Assassinate is maybe possible, unfortunately. He could get to this Watchmaster if he kills off the veterans, which I think he's hoping to do. Area denial, he will get the 1.1. If he wants the 2.1, he's going to have to kill some of this Deathwatch squad and the Hellblasters. That's what he was measuring last turn. And Chain of Command, he can issue a maximum of 4 orders this turn, so he's only going to get 1 for that. So we'll just show you his, I'll close my eyes again, and we'll show you his next 4 cards. See if he wants to spend a command point and swap these.
There's the first one, the next one, the third one, and the fourth one.
Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I'll try and zoom in blind here, so hopefully that works. So that's his cards. If you take them away now, and then Mike can decide if he wants to spend the command point, which none of us have used that stratagem yet, if he wants to use his command point to draw those cards. The end of the movement phase, this Stormlord moved up on what's likely to be quite a dead veteran squad. Mike already confided that he was keeping a command point to use in the fight phase for Crush 'em to hit on 2s with us, so that could be difficult. The Psyker advanced over here, the other Russes moved up. The commander fell back from combat like a little coward. Even though he charged me in the first place and has overcharged his plasma pistol, still cowardly. He used the command point on jury rigging for this, so it has to remain stationary, but it goes back up to 6 wounds, so it is its full bracket again. So my thoughts of hurting that were no good.
Can I just say, because the Conqueror is a Forge World piece, normally a Lehman Russ would degrade at 6.
So normally at 6 wounds a Russ would be down 1 ballistic skill, but because it's Forge World and they're wonderfully balanced and great rules, we doesn't matter though. At the end of the phase he did bring in his reserves here behind my intercessors. I decided not to spend 2 command points on Auspex Scan. Had I moved them into range of Azrael I might have done, but I think I'll need those 2 command points. Not the best of targets for here, but he decided, he worked out that he could actually get 6 orders this turn. If the platoon commander issues 1 and he uses the stratagem to issue an additional order, then he can get 6. It's just whether he has enough units in range to issue orders to, which I think so he's checked. Oh yeah, himself and those two. So he should get the 2 victory points for that. There's no way I can block the orders. So we'll do the psychic phase now. I assume we're going to get a smite with the
indeed.
Psyker here is going to cast smite. He fails. Do you want to use your command point? No, it's not worth it. So Psyker there does no damage. Hopefully he'll be okay before the Colexis comes in to murderfy him. We'll see what happens. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase and this nice ominous shooting phase here for the Astra Militarum. So we've done the orders so that Mike can score his cards. He issued his commander to get back in the fight so he can still shoot, using a stratagem to give one unit reroll ones to hit and the other infantry unit reroll ones to hit. Both tank commanders gave each other rerolls 1 to hit, whereas the infantry squad back here were given first rank fire, second rank fire, hoping the las guns can do some damage here. So that is 6 orders used, and that is 2 victory points for his Maelstrom card. So a nice way to claw back some points for this game. So we will see if the shooting phase can be just as effective for this. Start the shooting phase, overcharging the plasma here into the intercessors. I actually managed 2 hits without killing himself and managed to do 2 wounds, but I did make 1 armor save, so 1 dies. The las guns were managed to do an great 8 wounds thanks to first rank fire, second fire. As you can see, killing 1 more, so I'm not going to fail a morale test if nothing else shoots at them because I've got a good enough leadership. We're going to start with the Shadow Sword.
Yep.
Is going to fire. You can now see the Dark Shroud, which I probably should have moved.
I'm going to do Shadow Sword main gun into these guys.
Okay, so the Shadow Sword is going to go into the unit here, hoping to deny me defend objective
Exactly.
6 to
And
claw back some points.
Bolters
Are not in range for the heavy bolters.
These boys.
Yeah, the heavy bolters are going to go into the veterans here. So we'll do the main gun. Hopefully you can roll as well as you did last time. 3 shots. We're looking for 3 shots. And we get 5. Slightly better, I must say. Hitting on 4s. We want bad rolls here. So we hit with everything. I should shut up. And we want 2s to wound. That's worse. That's 2 wounds.
Oh, this is so hard.
He's got 1 command point left, so he is
So
debating whether or not he wants to.
I have to.
Okay.
It denies you 2 points. I won't be able to do crush them, but you can't fall back and shoot.
No, I
So
cannot.
I can just keep charging you.
That is, yeah, that's very
So
true.
I'm going to have to re-roll that because I need to take them off the objective.
Okay, so command point reroll. That's 3. That's 3 wins. Minus 2, is
Minus
it?
5.
Oh, minus 5. So
2d6 each. So it should wipe the unit.
yeah, that 2d6 is impossible for me. So yeah, that is this unit wiped. That's
I
a
have
good.
to go for it.
That's a good play there to deny me secure objective 2. So defend objective 6. So that's gone for me. So I'm not going to score that. That's a really nice play there. I must congratulate Mike on that. I did not see that coming. So the heavy bolters are going to go into the veterans. We'll see if this can do any damage. Can you roll like that for the cannon? And that's 1 wound. I'm not going to take this on a storm shield. I have a feeling I might need them. So yeah, that's fine. That's safe. So good round of shooting there from the Stormlord. Nice, unexpected tactic. Taking out my unit holding the objective to deny me the points. It's currently 9-2. So yeah, Mike really needs to draw back some points in order to do well in this game. So we'll do the rest of the shooting and see what happens. So shooting phase is done, and I've been having a good rant about how ridiculously overpowered Forge World Conquerors are. Basically, it's got a Conqueror cannon, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Conqueror cannon and a coaxial heavy bolter. Storm bolter. If the Storm bolter fires at a target, he gets full rerolls to hit on the main gun. The Storm bolter doesn't have to hit the target, he just has to fire. So over here, he got 9 shots with the Russ at the Dark Shroud, hitting on 5s, but because of the Storm bolter just fired at it and didn't hit, he got 7 out of 9 5-up hits. Unfortunately, he took 4 wounds off it. to take it down to 3 remaining. Over here, the Plasma Commander fired his last cannon at the last scout, killing him. One had been killed by the 2 infantry squads fired and managed to kill one. The last cannon finished last one. He overcharged at the Hailblasters, taking 1 mortal wound, 2 mortal wounds, sorry, in the process, but did kill them. But I did manage to put 2 wounds on this from firing back with the Ancient. As you can see here, I lost 6 of the veterans. The other Conqueror getting ridiculous number of shots, 9 shots again, and full rerolls. My Storm Shields did nothing. They both failed on the first attempt, so I've lost some of that squad. I also lost 3 Deathwatch veterans here to the other tank commander over in the ruins here, managing to get some good shots and some terrible armor saves. So I've got 2 left in this squad. They will need a morale check, as will this squad if any survive, because the charges are going to come in. At least they won't be hitting on a 2+, because he's out of command points. I have 3 remaining. I need to decide what I'm going to do with them, but we're going to do the charge in here. He's pretty much in. I don't think he can fail it, but I will do my... I should actually remove casualties from the front, but I didn't. I forgot that. So I could have made the charge longer and through a crater. But we'll do the Overwatch. I don't have much doubt of doing anything, but we'll see. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back to you with the combat phase. So I did manage to do a wound in Overwatch with my Vengeance Shells. Managed to do 1 wound, and he made the charge. It was pretty much impossible to fail. So we'll roll up the attacks, hitting on, is it 5s or 6s? 5s. 5s to hit for the big beastie here. Let's see what we get. Oh, again, pretty good, pretty good. That's wounding on 2s, I presume?
Yep.
Any minuses?
-2.
-2, so this is 5 ups. No, so I'll lose 3 more veterans. And that will measure up, but that might take them out of consolidation range to be able to shoot, but I'm probably going to lose this unit anyway. Doesn't matter, I don't think I can pass a morale test to actually be able to do that. So we'll see. Morale test, my veteran squad here is going to need 1. So that is, they lost 3, so they can fail it on a 6. Nope, 5's good. And this guy is the sergeant. He's leadership 9, so he's fleeing anyway, regardless. So I don't think it's worth the 2 CP to keep him alive for 1 Stormbolter. So I will lose him and leave my Watchmaster facing down a nice super heavy on his own, who he can't tie up. So at the end of his turn, he scores 1 point for area denial, because we checked, and my lieutenant is actually just in range of the 12-inch mark, so he'll only score 1 for area denial, and he will score 2 points for chain of command for issuing 6 orders. He doesn't get assassinate, and he doesn't get big game. So that takes it at the moment, and I don't score defend objective 6. So that is 9 points to 5 for the Deathwatch and Dark Angels leading the Astra Militarum. My next turn, I'll need to see what cards I draw and what where my reserves are going to go and what they're going to do. So we'll come back to you with my next turn. Not much left, but we'll see what I can do. In my third turn, I drew Secure Objective 4, Assassinate, Supremacy, and No Prisoners. Objective 4, I already have. Supremacy I can probably get. I can move the Dark Shroud back onto this objective, and I'm already holding 1 here. Doesn't matter if I lose the Ancient at this point, the Hellblasters are all gone. No Prisoners I can probably get if I focus on the infantry squads. Might get lucky with taking out 1 of the tanks. It would be nice to do that at all in the game. Assassinate maybe get. If I can shoot this Psyker with my assassin and kill him, then maybe. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to get to his commander. But we'll see. I'll place my reserves and have a look.
Their characters as well.
Oh yeah, and the tank commanders can be targeted. I forgot about that. But 1's on 7 wounds, so but he's not in range of my missile launchers, so maybe. We shall see. Late or sight. So we'll see what I can do there. No, he is in range, sorry, I meant he's not line of sight. So what I'm going to do now is draw my next 4 cards and see if it's worth swapping any of them. Which will probably be the last turn we need to do this. So that's the first one, which is probably not doable. That's probably not doable. That's probably not doable. That one is, so I'm definitely not swapping them. That's a horrendous set of cards for next turn. So this could be a good, I shouldn't be telling them this, but that could be a good turning point for Mike to do some damage. So I will do my movement phase and my my movement phase and my reserves have to come in, and then I'll come back to you with that. End of my movement phase, I moved the Watch Captain back to give me rerolls for this squad here. I brought in the Assassin and the Watch Captain here. The Assassin can hopefully go after the Psyker. The Watch Captain can go after the commander there, or one of the tank commanders. We'll see what I decide to do. The Dark Shroud and the characters move back to grab this objective. I decided to bring in the Intercessors here to target. This should at least give me a confirmed kill for overwhelming firepower, I hope. I didn't advance the Dark Shroud, so I can fire at these guys as well, so he's not going to get an invuln. I would have liked to have brought the Intercessors over here. I thought if I could shoot his tank commander, I would get Assassinate, and then maybe go after these guys with a charge. However, the Shadow Sword was far too close. There was no way to position these guys that I could shoot the tank commander and reasonably get in. So I figured they're going to die they could die next turn. I may as well at least try and get something out of them with scoring me at least a victory point for overwhelming firepower. So that is where all my reserves come. If things go very well, I can charge in to the 2 characters and kill them off, hopefully. Oh, and another character over here actually. I forgot about that. Maybe I might be able to kill him if I can kill off the infantry squad targeting them first. So we'll go, I'll do my shooting phase and we'll come back and see what I can do. Start my shooting phase, I am going to fire the Intercessors into the infantry squad here. Thinking about it, they're already -1 and he's not in cover. So I think I'll just go for the Hellfire Shells, so maximising number of wounds. So 20 shots, hitting on 3s. Let's hope I do well here. Statistically, it's probably about right. Wounding on 2s, no rerolls because my thing is heavy support. That's not bad. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 6-up saves. So, oh come on! He rolls 4 6s, so that's 8.
Still 2 more to roll.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on! 5 6s, so that's 7 dead.
Just 7.
Just 7. It's not enough to kill the unit, but it might be once my heavy bolter fires in and my characters. But that is really infuriating because I was hoping that would be enough to kill them, but when your opponent is rolling 5 6s out of 12, that's not how this game's supposed to go. You get enough rerolls as it is. So I think I'll do the rest of my shooting and hopefully be able to cause some damage from that. We'll see what else I can do. Oh, so infuriating over here, because if I can kill these off, he's also a character. I can maybe kill him and actually do some damage, because I think, unfortunately, none of these units, the Shadow Sword is too close, so I don't think I'll be able to do that. Damn it, I wonder if I'd have been better off with the -2 shells, just so I would win you in 3s, but I wouldn't kill you. Okay, I'll do the rest of my shooting, and I can grumble a bit more about that in time. Rest of my shooting phase, the Watchmaster fired at the Stormlord, doing no damage. The Assassin got 1 shot on his D6 roll. I decided to use the command point to re-roll that, and got a great 6 shots, so he managed to kill off the Psyker. The captain fired his bolt pistol into the tank but did no damage. The heavy bolter on the Dark Shroud and the Ancient fired at this unit. The heavy bolter got 3 hits but only 1 wound, but I did manage to reduce this down to 2 models, so I think I'm going to try and charge in and finish them off. So at the moment I have no prisoners for 1 kill. If I can charge in here, I might get this unit killed as well. I do have Assassinate, and my captain, if he can make a charge on the commander here, I can possibly kill him and get Warlord. There's no point charging in here. So at the end of shooting phase wasn't great, but I do have 1 point for no prisoners. I do have Supremacy, I do have Secure 4, and I do have Assassinate, so I'm going to get all 4 of them. So my captain, my watch captain, is going to charge the company commander, Warlord. You get to shoot.
Can't see you.
Oh, sorry. One amendum. The missile launchers here fired at the Russ. I got 2 hits, 1 wound that got through, but I rolled it. I needed a 4 or more to kill him, but I got 2 for damage, so that was no good. So I've got 2 command points left. I can save 1 for this, so I need a 9-inch charge to get in, because I can walk through the runes.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, thankfully. So I need a 9. The assassin can also try the charge as well, although if my captain makes this, I might put the assassin into the plasma tank, just to stop it from hurting me. That's a 7 I rolled, so that's totally worth the command point reroll. Let's roll on our dice. Please, dice gods. 3, that's enough to get in. Do I keep the command point? I don't, so I'm down to 1 CP left. And do you know what? The assassin's pretty much done his job, so he is going to also attempt a charge on the tank commander here. Because if I can stop him shooting, I think that's totally worth it, and the shooting back. So we'll do the Overwatch and see if that does any damage to him, and if I can make the charge. Unlikely to make the charge, but I think it's worth the shot. So we'll do that off camera and see what happens. So a big ton of events there. Mike decided, it's my own name, I should remember that. Mike decided he would overcharge with his plasma cannons and fire. I actually managed with the plasma, the execution on the plasma, I managed to get 3 hits in total, 3 wounds. I didn't make a single invuln to stay alive. I do have 1 command point left, but I've already used it in this phase. So the assassin died, but it did cause 2 wounds to the executioner, and oh no, you'll score Assassinate, because you can score that in my turn. So yeah, that was perhaps foolish that he does score Assassinate now, so that gives him a leg up. Oh, and we'll do the charge over here. I forgot about that. We'll do the charge over here. So the plasma.
I'll overcharge.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't kill him, because if he killed himself, that would have been pretty much an impossible charge. And the pistol's in range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 2d6. Pity my units don't count towards no prisoners. That would have been useful. That's a 10. That's in. So we'll move our chargers. Oh, I should have declared the commander as well. That's infuriating. I could have done that and got more points. I never even thought that. No, he's out of 12-inch. I can't. Yeah. It's impossible to declare him. So, yep, my watch captain's moved round. He's going to be able to consolidate and get into the tank to stop it shooting next turn, which is what I was hoping would happen with the plasma tank, but no. But this unit will get in and we'll wipe these out. So if I can kill both units, I will get 2 points for no prisoners. So we'll do my movement and the fight phase and come back to you with that. So in my fight phase, I've moved round to get into contact with both vehicles. I'm going to put 4 attacks into the commander, because I didn't declare the Russ as a target. I can stop it shooting, but I don't want to kill it. That is re-rolling 1s, that's 4 hits, 2s to wound.
Oh no, he hits on 2s.
He hits on 2s normally. That is 3 wounds at -3, so 3/5 up invulns. No, he's dead. So that's a dead company commander, and that is Warlord for me. We'll roll the attacks for the intercessors. I don't know if it's worth it, but we'll do it anyway, and we'll come back to you with my score for the turn. the attacks back from the rust did no damage, and I was able to kill off the infantry squad. So in my turn I will score 2 points for no prisoners, 2 points for supremacy, 1 point for assassinate, and 1 point for secure 4. So that gives me 6 points and takes it up to 15 to 5 for the...
6.
Sorry, 15 to 6 because he scores assassinate, and I score warlord, so that's 16 to 6. So pretty good turn for me, going ahead in the cards, and we'll come back with the cards drawn for the Astra Militarum on turn 3. Third turn for the Astra Militarum, he drew defend 3, troops on the ground, which is hold 3 to 5 objectives with infantry, psychological warfare, which is possible but not always likely with marines, and defend 1. So 3, he's on with a Stormlord. He's going to claim that unless I have anything alive to go after it. 1, he's on with his units, so that should be a good 4 points for him. He can't get troops on the ground, he may get psychological warfare depending on how we roll. So we'll show you his next 4 cards. Again, I'll close my eyes, see if he wants... Well, no, there's no point because you can't swap them.
I can't swap them.
He's no command points, so we'll not bother showing you them.
I can see what they are, so I can plan for them.
Okay, yep, no, that's valid, that's valid. We'll do that then. The next 4 cards are...
These. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4.
Well, hopefully you can see them. If not, you'll see them next turn. So that is the cards for his turn 4. I don't know if they're good or not, but he's got a pretty good deck here. He should be able to get 4 points from these with relative ease, unless I have 5 stuff alive that can block him getting one of these objectives. Nothing can block him getting 1 realistically. So we'll come back with the end of the movement phase and where the Rough Riders are going to show up. Stormlord moved up to target my units here. The other tanks moved up. The Russ commander falling back from combat. So a lot of firepower coming this way. Over here, the platoon commander advanced while the Rough Riders came in here. I've only got 1 command point left, so no Auspex scan on them. Hoping to charge in and go after this objective and some of my characters. So with that, no psychic phase because the psyker's now dead. We'll move on to the shooting phase, starting with
some orders.
Yeah, so we'll start with some orders and then we'll come back to the shooting phase. For the orders, Mike used a special Tallarn tank order to move 6 inches with both tanks. Here he didn't move to get his platoon commander up here. I think that's maybe in case the Dark Shroud blows up, that he doesn't get caught with explosion. So we're going to start the shooting phase with the 2 infantry squads firing at my watch captain over here. So we'll do that off camera because there's a lot of shots, and then we'll come back with the rest of the shooting for turn 3. In the shooting phase, the 2 infantry squads fired at the captain, doing nothing at all. This Russ fired at him, managed to get 5 hits and 5 wounds with the cannon. I made 4 saves, but he did take 3 damage from the one that got through. I think every Conqueror hit with every shot thanks to this stupid rerolls. The Plasma Cushioner fired at my Devastator squad, and after some amazing armor saves, I think I made, like, out of 7 wounds I made 5 5-ups, so they're still alive. The Shadow Sword fired the heavy bolters at it, did no damage, but managed to kill 3 of the intercessors over here. The Rough Riders fired at the Dark Angels and the intercessors, but did no damage. Over here, this killed both of the of the veterans here. So that's the shooting phase. We're going to go into the charge phase, where the Shadow Sword I think is going into the Watchmaster. The Tallarns are going to try and charge the captain to tie him up, and the Rough Riders are probably going to go into Azrael and the Lieutenant. So we'll do the Overwatch and we'll get the charge ranges on camera. In the charge phase, the Rough Riders charged Azrael, taking a wound and failing the charge. The Shadow Sword charged the Watchmaster. I did get 2 hits but no wounds. and the Tallarns were able to charge him, annoyingly, because I was hoping to actually be able to move him next turn and do some charges, but I'm not going to be able to do that. So we'll do the combat phase. Shadow Sword. I don't have enough to interrupt, so
yeah, might as well.
Let's start with the Shadow Sword on the Watchmaster, hitting on 5s. Yeah, it's not bad. 3 hits, 2s to wounds. Yep, -2, so 4 ups anyway, Invuln or armor. Takes 1, it's D3. And 3, damn, you're doing well on the D3s this turn. So 3 wins on the Watchmaster. We'll do the attacks back and the rest of the attacks for the squads, and we'll see what we can do in this instance. The Watchmaster attack back actually managed to take 2 wounds from the Shadow Sword. The Tallarns over here did no damage to the captain. They caused a wound, but I saved it. In reply, I was able to do 4 hits, but only 2 wounds, wounding on a 2+. So 2 died. They will need a morale check, maybe?
Fail on a 6.
Yeah, so on a 6 he fails. That's cocked. Nope, he's fine. The Intercessors lost 3, they are leadership 8, so they can fail. Nope, they are good. These guys lost 2, the Sergeant's still alive. But I did take the Heavy Bolter so that the Shadow Sword couldn't charge me when they lost 2, so that's fine, they will pass. So, failed charge on the Rough Riders was good for me. At the end of his turn, he scores nothing, but he has started defending Objective 3 here and defending Objective 1 here, which I'm unlikely to take off him because I can't fall back and charge here. So my plan was to fall back and charge. So with that, that's turn 3 over for the Astra Militarum. We'll go on to turn 4 for the Deathwatch. As you saw last turn, the cards I drew this turn are Secure Objective 4, Secure Objective 1, Secure Objective 1, Defend Objective 1. I can get 4, but 1's over here I'm not getting to. So let's see what the next 4 I can draw are, and if they are any better to spend my last command point on. So I draw this one, which isn't great, this one, which isn't great, and these 2. So I'm going to do some measuring, see what I can get into, and if it's worth doing any of these for me. So after thinking about it, I decided I would spend the command point to get rid. I could only score 1 in Secure Objective 4, but now I can have a chance to score Secure 3 and hold the line. Do I regain it? Nope, so I'm out of command points now. My movement phase, I ran the Devastators round to get in range of the Objective 3, which is just under the Baneblade here, or the Shadow Sword and the Crater, but I will control that because I have more models. And then I moved up my characters and my intercessors on the Rough Riders to clear them out of my objective zone in order to gain hold the line. Okay, shooting phase, the intercessors are going to fire at these guys with Hellfire, even though he made a lot of 6-ups last turn. I'm hoping he won't do the same this turn. So 14 shots, hitting on 3s. Oh, let's do that. Hitting on 3s. That's not too shabby. Wounding on 2s. That's not too bad. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 wounds at -1. And none, so that's dead. Rough Riders, and I'm going to put the rest of the shots. Let's put Azrael 2 shots into the platoon commander. Let's do. Do you know what? Let's fire both weapons. I'm not going to overcharge. How many wounds has platoon commander got?
3.
3. Let's not overcharge, but let's do both shots. So the plasma, that's 2 hits with the plasma, 2s to wound, that's 2 wounds with the plasma. So 2 go through. Oh no, he's got a. Nope, 2 go through. The bolter, that's 2 hits because he hits on a 2+. 2 wounds.
He's only got 3 wounds.
Yeah, he's dead. So that is 1 dead platoon commander. Other than that, the squad over here advanced. We'll put one pistol into the infantry squad the captain's in combat with. That's a hit. That's a wound. -2, so 1 dies. Yeah, because I may as well using the vengeance shells. No pistol on the Watchmaster. We'll do the fight phase now. This is a really quick turn. We'll do the fight phase. Let's do the captain over here into the guys. That's only 2 hits because I don't re-roll the 2s. And 1 wound only, so 1 dead infantry squad. That sucks. And I guess the Shadow Sword gets to attack.
Yes.
Because I didn't charge.
Am I correct in saying I can pile in this way into that unit?
I guess so, yeah.
And then attack them?
Yeah, I think you can actually. I forgot about that. Damn. I did not realise that. Could happen. But yeah, that's perfectly within the rules. Oh, and when you're rolling, that's not good. 2s. 4 -2. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this could have been a mistake. 3, that's enough to kill them. That is right. So, that is scuppered my plans there. So, at the end of, I'll do my attacks back for the Watchmaster. 4 attacks, I believe. All hit. 5's to wound, rerolling 1s. That is 2 wounds go through. 6 ups. Nope, 2d3. That's cocked. 4 wounds. 4 wounds on it, so that takes him up to 7 wounds taken. Ah, damn it, I did not see that coming. But that's fine. So at the end of my turn, I only score hold the line for 1 point. So that takes me, the end of turn 4, to 17 points for the Deathwatch, to 6 points. Oh, and he scores defend objective 3, which is there, and defend objective 1, so that's 17 points to 9 points. 10, sorry, for the Astra Militarum. So, closing up the gap a bit, we'll see what cards he can draw for his 4th turn. So on his 4th turn, Mike draws Defend Objective 4, Overkill, which is kill a unit with a Astra Militarum vehicle, or extra points if you kill a unit with a Titanic, which is entirely possible. Secure 6 and Mission Crit 6. So 6 is over here, which he's not getting to. 4 is here, which he's not getting to because the Baneblade can't go in there at the moment, in the runes. So yeah, he's only going to get Overkill for D3. We'll see what he does for his movement phase and the shooting phase. In the movement phase, the Shadow Sword actually fell back onto the objective here. He could just get in. The tank commander moved up, again using his order to move another 6 to get in range of the intercessors over here. The other tank commander did the same order, whereas the vehicle here moved up towards the objective, and the infantry squad fell back from combat with the watch captain in order to be able to shoot him and finish him off with the tanks. And so we'll start with the shooting phase. Who's going to go first?
We'll go with this guy first.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot the Ancient.
Yeah, the Russ here is going to shoot in at the Ancient. So we'll see what he can do. Stormbolt's in range. I keep forgetting to move out of Stormbolt range to stop you getting that.
Bang.
So,
no hits.
See, he doesn't even need to hit to get re-rolls, but he is hitting on 6s with the main cannon.
Last cannon.
Last cannon, no hits. The main gun gets for 6 shots.
6 shots.
With re-rolls, nothing, but he gets re-rolls. Oh, come on! 2's to wound. Yeah. What's the -2, so 4 up because I'm in cover. And I make 1. So 2d3, 4. I don't think that's enough to kill him. I think Primaris Ancients have 5 wounds.
Probably.
So he's down to 1 wound remaining, but that's not good for me. We'll do the rest of the Astra Militarum shooting and see what we can get. In the shooting phase, the Plasma Executioner and this tank fired at the intercessors, managing to kill them all off, as you can see. The tank over here fired at my watch captain. The Stormbolter did 4 hits and 4 wounds, and I failed 2 saves, so he didn't even need the main cannon, so I failed 3 saves to kill him. The guy over here fired his main gun at the Watchmaster. 2 wounds, I needed 2 3-ups and I rolled a double 1, so he's dead. The Shadow Sword fired his heavy bolters at the Ancient, killing him. He fired his main gun at Asriel, causing 3 wounds. So I will do Asriel's 3 4-up invuns, and he's still got his Warlord's reroll left. So I need 4-ups. I failed 1, so let's do. Yeah, I'm using my reroll, so that's 1 through. This is what,
2d6.
Oh, this is 2d6 damage, so he's got 6 wounds. And that's a 4, so he does survive on 2 wounds. So
no.
There's no assaults because there's nothing in range. Asriel is left on 2 wounds. The Master is left on full strength. So I think my turn's going to consist of them hiding and hoping to draw some good objectives. So in his turn, he scores overkill for 1 point.
2, because I killed.
Oh yeah, 2 points because he killed it with Titanic. He starts defending 4 and he can't secure 6. So at the moment, I'm not going to be able to stop him getting 4. So that is going to take it up to 14 points to 16. So I'll see what I can draw for my 5th turn. So in my 5th turn, I draw Mission Critical Objective, Please 6, for 3, I'm not getting that. Secure Objective 2, Witch Hunter, and Secure 5. 5 is all the way over here, I'm not getting that. 2, I'm probably not getting. I'm not getting that either. So what I think I'm going to do is measure up the ranges and then just probably hide. So Mike could seize this at the end of his turn. If he draws a good run of cards. So I measured up the distance to objective 2 and there was no way I was getting it even with a good charge range. So all I did, like the proud Space Marines I am, I hid these 2 characters behind the outer line of sight here, so nothing's going to be able to shoot. I'm not going to be able to score any of my cards this turn. So we'll go straight on to Mike's turn. So he scores his defend objective 4, taking it at the end of my turn 5 to 16 points to the Deathwatch
14.
and 14 to the Astra Militarum. So we'll come on with the cards drawn for them in turn 5. So in his fifth turn, Mike drew Defend 2, which he's not getting this turn, Blood and Guts, which he can't get, Kingslayer, which he's probably not getting. I think the only thing that can shoot me out of line of sight is the Mortar, and that's out of range. He will get Secure 4, taking it to 15 all. So I don't think there's any shooting in your turn. He's just going to do his movement. We'll come back to you with his movement and then we'll see if the game ends. If it does, I've probably sneaked a very close win, but otherwise I've probably lost.
It'll actually be a draw.
The end of the movement phase, this commander advanced and used his order to try and get up into line breaker range. He's just outside my deployment zone at the moment. The vehicles over here advanced and moved up. There is no shooting, so they're moving up. There is no shooting because I don't think anything can see or everything advanced. So he's just getting into a better position on the board to go for the objectives, and we will see what happens if the game goes on. So at the end of his turn, he does score Secure Objective 4. And I score nothing, so we'll roll to see if the game goes on. If it ends here, I think I've sneaked a win by 1 point. So. If it doesn't end, then we go on to turn 6, and it depends on what cards are drawn and whether he can shoot me next turn. So we'll see what happens. And the game goes on, so we'll come back to you with turn 6 for the Dark Angels. So in my turn, I draw Behind Enemy Lines, Secure 6, Blood and Guts and secure 3. I'm going to move the Master up to secure 6 while staying in Asriel's bubble, so I get a good invuln save. I'll do some shooting, see if I can do any damage, but I'm only going to get 1 point, so depending on what Mike draws, he could sneak the win in this game. So we'll come back with what little shooting I have. I think the Master's going to try and shoot this tank commander and actually do some damage. So 2 shots, hitting on 3s, wounding on 6s, rerolling 1s from self, nothing. So no damage on this Master on 4 wounds remaining. At the end of my turn, I score secure objective 6, taking me up to 17 victory points, and we'll see what Mike can draw and whether this is going to win the game from. So Mike drew secure objective 2, secure objective 1, master the warp, and secure objective 3. Secure objective 3 he already has. He can move this unit up in advance to get onto objective 2 there.
So I'll have to move.
Yeah. He can't get master the warp, and he secure objective 2 is unlikely. He's already got objective 1. So I think what we'll probably do is that's going to be 2 points, so that's going to take it up to 16.
That'll be 3, so it'll be 18.
Yeah, and he'll get 17. Line breaker, so that'll be 18 to 17. It's unlikely that I'm going to draw any cards, so what I think I'll do is I'll look at, I have 2 cards remaining in my hand. I'll have a look at them. These are defend 3 and defend 5, so I'm not getting them. So I think that the game going on has, there's no point playing out this turn. It's impossible for me to win, so thanks to Mike for a fantastic game,
yeah,
which was really quite close. I could have lost it on the final turn. You can't ask for more than that, but some amazing rolls for both players, I think, and that will be some brutal. So I end the game with technically 2 models, because that little helmet guy doesn't count. 2 models remaining. Shooting phase was probably going to kill the lieutenant. I keep calling him the master, lieutenant. Asriel might have survived, but it doesn't matter. There's no way I could draw back the points. So that's 18 to 17.
Be 19.
19 with line breaker. So 19 points win to 17. 16, no, 17 for the Dark Angels. So you couldn't ask for a much closer game, and quite an interesting scenario.
Yeah,
so
it was, I'll give it that.
Thanks to Mike for the game, and we'll come back to you later with some after battle thoughts. Welcome to the after battle thoughts. Hopefully you just enjoyed the game that you watched. I know I certainly enjoyed playing in it. Once again, unfortunately, it's just me for the after battle thoughts. Mike had to run off and get his train home, it being just after 11 PM when we'd finished filming this, so he didn't have time to stay for the after battle thoughts. But wow, that was certainly an interesting game and an interesting scenario to play. I kind of enjoyed it. I always enjoy a good Maelstrom game, and the scenario, that is, I enjoyed the game. The Maelstrom scenario, getting a sort of advanced preview of what you're going to score next turn, or what you're going to draw next turn, is certainly interesting. It allows you to maybe plan ahead for things you're going to do. So that's a good bonus. The stratagem to swap out is also of use, even though we only got 1 use out of it in this game. Overall, I think the game went well. My army, I sort of knew making this list that I would struggle to deal with heavy armoured lists, heavy vehicle lists, because I don't have many units that can deal with them, so I thought that was going to be a problem. Just depends on the mission whether I can outplay them. In this case I couldn't, but you know, I take some solace in that if the game had ended on turn 5, I would have snuck out a victory, maybe even on turn 6, potentially, with the cards drawn, so I'll take solace in that fact. I think that overall the game went well. Turn 1, I got first turn. I was able to use 1 unit of scouts to tie up a couple of conquerors and stop them from shooting, so that was useful. I think the scouts on the right flank, so the scouts that were on the flank down here that went after the infantry squad, they were a bit wasted, as I was unlikely to get through the infantry screen to block the tanks from shooting. What I think I might have been better suited doing was putting them over on the left flank, over here, where the other conqueror was set up, and to charge that and stop that from shooting. If I could stop all 3 of them from shooting, it would have been a big bonus for me. Plus it would have meant I could get closer to the enemy infantry models and possibly charge them. The Hellblasters were okay in this game. They were able to take out a tank on turn 1 to give me first blood and overwhelming firepower, I believe it was, which was good. After that, they didn't really do much. They did die quite easily to the amount of strong AP firepower and high damage firepower that Mike had in his army. So they did fall, but they created a nice target to block them. There was a couple of really nice plays from Mike during this game to deny me the objectives. Putting his shadow sword into my group of intercessors at the backfield, holding the objective to deny me defend objective 6, was really strong. I wasn't expecting that, but that worked very well. Almost didn't. He had to use the command point reroll to ensure he killed off the unit. Otherwise I would have spent the command points to make sure they stayed. That was nice. The other also involved the shadow sword, where he was able to swing round and take out the devastators to stop me securing objective 3 and allowing him to defend objective 3. So that was a really nice play by him, which I think helped swing the game in his favour, because if he hadn't done that, I would have been 3 points ahead and he would have been 2 points down, so I'm not sure if he could have won there. So that was quite nice. Overall, the cards were pretty kind to me. I was able to get most of them each turn. Again, a strong focus on playing the mission and actually going after the objectives. Might have been better to put the intercessors after a more powerful target, but as it was, I was able to take them out. Some quite bad luck there, I find. I think the intercessors should have killed off the infantry squad on my backfield, but you know, when your opponent has 12 6-up saves to make and he makes 5 of them to keep the squad alive, there's not much you can do about that. If they had died, I think I would have been able to shoot the platoon commander with my units and take him out to score an extra point for assassinate. Also, the assassin falling to an overcharging plasma weaponry when he had 3 saves to make and he needed to make 1 4-up and he didn't make a single one. That was pretty horrendous, as well as my Watchmaster and Watch Captain falling to pretty much Stormbolter fire was pretty horrendous too. So that was no good, but it's still funny for the game. Overall, yeah, I liked Mike's list. We were talking about the Conqueror in the fine tradition of either Forge World being ridiculously overpowered or just utterly useless. The Conquerors are incredibly strong. They're only, I think he said they're 2 points more than a normal Layman Russ, and it's the full rerolls. The full rerolls for the Conqueror main gun if the Stormbolter just shoots at the same target. Not even hits, just shoots. So he was pretty much rolling 8 or 9 shots each turn he fired, thanks to grinding in advance, and he was hitting with basically all of them thanks to the rerolls. So they cause a lot of damage, and I can see why he takes them in the list. They are incredibly strong. Bit too strong in my opinion, but that's just me. Shadow Sword was also good. Maybe not optimal against my army, but certainly at the tournament, if he's going to come up against any other vehicles or knights or anything like that, it will do a lot of damage. The 2d6 wounds per shot, 2d6 damage per wound is really strong. If you can get a few wounds in against knights, with some decent rolling, you can hurt them a lot. As expected, my army, not great against armour. The Hellblasters are good. They're able to take out one of the tanks and damage another. But the Layman Russ is strong. The difference between toughness 7 and 8 is pretty big. It means my plasma is only wounding on a 4, rerolling 1s, rather than wounding on a 3, rerolling 1s. So I'm not getting as many rerolls and I'm not doing as many wounds. So that is a big factor. Also, most of your basic infantry and weapons that are strength 4, wounding them on 6s is another big bonus where you can potentially, you know, you're essentially getting half the number of wounds. And when he has, you know, 7 toughness 8 vehicles in his list, I was really going to struggle with it. Overall, I think I had a chance of winning the game, as you saw. You know, the objectives were pretty kind to me, as they were to Mike, for the most part. And in the late game, it was only in the late game he was able to sort of capitalise on me having so few units left and do some real damage to his squad. Annoyingly, when his Tallarns over there made the charge on my watch captain, I was hoping that if the watch captain stayed out of combat, he could move into the ruins by objective 1, maybe throwing a grenade at the infantry squad, charging them, killing enough that they would flee or wipe out the unit. Then I knew I had 2 lots of secure objective 1 the following turn, and he had defend objective 1. It could have swung the game my way, but he did manage to make the charge. So, you know, fair play to him. That was a good call. Even though he wasn't able to kill me, he was pretty much able to stop me charging the unit next turn and scoring those objectives. So yeah, overall fun game. I've now tried 3 of the missions for Warfare and I've got 2 wins and a loss. So I'll be interested to hopefully try a couple of the other missions before, and really interested when it comes to the tournament itself to see how I'll actually perform. Hopefully based on my practice games, if I don't come up against any really scary lists, I can actually do quite well in the Mushroom missions. So thanks for watching the battle. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, good or bad, please let me know below. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel so I know that people are actually enjoying the content. You can also check out the blog, St Andrew's Wargaming. The address is in the text below, in the description below, where you'll find some hobby content, some codex reviews and some old school written battle reports with the types of maps and analyses you see here. There's also a St Andrew's Wargaming Facebook page, which again the link is in the description below, which you can join if you want to keep up to details of when the new reports are posted, the new written battle reports, all the stuff on the blog, and just general work in progress hobby posts. So hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.